Yo, what's up, guys? I'm Nikolai. And this morning I was actually bored, so I mapped out this funnel. It's a $1.3 million a month coaching business funnel. And I thought that this could be helpful for anyone that's running like an agency consulting coaching service because you probably have the same issues that they solved with this funnel. It actually has nothing to do with their ads, their closers, or their offer that's allowing them to make this amount of money every single month. It's really what they do between the lead being generated and the sales call. So today I'm going to walk you through their entire system step by step from the first ad click to the closed deal and show you that even at this scale, how they're losing so much money every single month. I actually calculated. It's almost like 200 grand a month that they're missing. And you're probably thinking like, how can this guy tell me that they're missing 2,000 grand a month? Well, I actually used to work inside this business as a setter and a closer, brought in about 300K, and I actually saw the entire thing unfold and actually lead to the calls on my calendar. So I was able to see what worked, what didn't. And overall, since I have a very analytical brain, I actually have my brain scan here. Basically, this is an anterior cortex that is very, very active, which allows me to focus on something so specifically, which is like a bunch of problem solving skills, process refinement, and analytical thinking that actually makes it super fun and easy to funnel hack these things and just see that maybe even after generating over $1 million a month, you could still lose a lot of money. So with that being said, this isn't a basic Facebook ads tutorial. It is the behind the scenes of exactly how an 8-figure coaching business converts cold traffic into cash. So let me show you exactly what I found. So look in here, we have the YouTube channel. Of course, we have all these different case studies, educational long form content to build trust and just give someone a place to just binge watch Antoine so they can build that parasocial relationship before they get on the sales call. It's going to increase close rates and show rates a ton, but it's not reliable, right? It does bring in so much traffic, as you can see, very niche down amount of views. The main channel that he's running, which is like over 6 figures a month in ad spend, is of course Facebook ads. So he's calling out a specific niche, asking them a question, and then leading them to book a call. Very simple. And then a graphic here that was probably made on Canva. These are all being A/B tested at all times, and something that definitely every single coach is competing for, which is why ad spend and overall cost per lead is going up. The next thing here he does is just have people nurtured through his Instagram content, which he recycles his tweets and his threads. So pretty good ecosystem going on here. He also has some people coming in organically, but overall, all leads to the same opt-in page. So there's an opt-in landing page, which is as simple as it sounds: how to build or scale a real estate business remotely without wasting time or money. So as you can see here, he's actually painting out the audience's dream outcome. With a subheadline, he's just handling an objection that probably comes up on a lot of sales calls. And then he has a process selling VSL, which just sells people on why exactly this method and why we should trust this guy to help me do that. So after someone watches the VSL, they go to a typical book a call application, right? We're just gathering information on them, their credit score, their cash. We're trying to see who's qualified, who's not. So after this, of course, the new lead opts in. If they're disqualified, they get a disqualified thank you page, which also leads to an email flow going on in the back, sending them free resources, trying to help them make money for free so they can qualify. We also have some setters downselling, trying to reach out and trying to convert into low ticket offers. Very inconsistent here. And I'm going to get through every single part of this funnel that I think could be improved to try to rinse the most out of these leads, but just trying to move fast here. Qualified leads, they'll get to a book a call page. And then once they do, make the decision to book a call or not, we already have their information, right? So let's just say they don't book a call. This is a very interesting type of lead, right? They've already committed. They were about to book a call, but they didn't. So what we try to send them is a setter, of course, to reach out, try to have a conversation, email flows, and SMS flows, all trying to get them back on a triage call. And let's just say the efforts do work. We get back all the way around here, same way, book a call as if they were to come in and book a call. What happens when they book a call is what everyone should be using if they don't already have it. It is the easiest way to translate information that you want someone to read or watch right when they're at an emotional high, which is just a dialed in thank you page. So this thank you page, it's just an introduction, welcome, and then a long form VSL that we want them to watch, which if you look at the last VSL, think about it. Someone might have just spent 2 minutes watching this and then book a call. So you want to show them the same video, if not a different video, to try to get them back educated now that they have some more time. After the first page, then of course you could scroll down and then there's a triage call confirmation walking through when it is, who is it with, which is awesome. And then there's like a little interactive piece here. Then there is an about the team section, public reviews, just trying to build a ton of trust. More public reviews, more case studies, which are cool. I mean, obviously the thumbnails here, the titles are great, right? They bought 2 deals in 6 months. He has 1 house in 7 months. Super simple, just trying to get people to consume. And I'm sure all the sauce is in these videos. And there's also long form videos through YouTube, BiggerPockets, different articles written about them. So a lot of trust here. And then they also have a section trying to handle the most common objection, which is that they have to involve their spouse or partner. So they actually walk through a script as how you can approach your spouse or partner. Really smart. And if someone goes through this all, they spend 30 plus minutes browsing this, they're very, very well nurtured. They have a lot of trust. A lot of their questions are probably answered. They are going to come on the call way more sophisticated, way more problem aware and solution aware, which is why the sales cycle is actually much shorter with these leads that consume everything, but also the close rates shoot up. And then lastly, not as much of an effect, but typically when you have a buy-in, you show up. So people that do engage with all this probably show up more. And then lastly, there is an easy Zoom access and meet the advisor, which I really liked. And I'll get through what I think could be optimized, even though it seems amazing and is obviously probably a big reason why they've been able to scale to over 7 figures a month. But after this, there's only one email here. So it's a pre-call email reminder, simple introduction. Please let me know if you've watched the video, and then getting them back on that page, which is nice. After this, of course, the triage call happens. So on that call, we're just building rapport, trying to figure out what's the biggest problem, finding and pre-handling those objections before the call, answering those common questions that might come up, and setting the frame for the closing call. This is a big one, because once we get all this information, which is definitely worth implementing if you have a ton of leads booking calls, but they're just unqualified, they might be lying on the forms, or that form just might be not a big enough barrier to entry. You can actually sift through these leads once more. So those that are disqualified, they'll get put in that downsell flow again. And those that are qualified, that's going to trigger the next sequence, which is, of course, confirming the call, sending relevant resources, sending them back to that thank you page, and then, of course, the strategy call. So based on that, if they show or not, they're going to get different flows. So if someone doesn't show, there is a rescheduling email flow, there's a rescheduling SMS flow, and then there's a setter calling them. And we try to get them back rescheduled. If they do show, then there's a couple things that can happen, of course. If they book a second call, then the same sequence comes back up. There's another call booked, and then based on if they don't show or they show, then we plug them right back into the system. And if there was an offer given, but they didn't buy, then there's a follow-up proposal sent, which is going to increase the amount of people that do end up buying. And then there's the bad fit and lost sequences. If someone doesn't necessarily fit the mold, they slip through, or they just said no, then we could put them in a long-term nurture. And if someone closes, then there's an automated onboarding automation. So this is pretty much the whole funnel here. You could see it's pretty simple, right? So that's how it breaks down. If there's anything throughout this process that you feel like you can implement right now, low-hanging fruit, definitely implement it all. If you already have something like this, or if you would be curious as to how I would actually improve this, because at this scale, there is a ton of tweaks that can be made in this process to just rinse out an extra little show rate, a little bit extra of a close rate, and that revenue is going to shoot up. Like, if you think about the math, just a 10% increase in show rate could be another $50,000 to $100,000 in revenue. It's nuts. But none of these businesses are focusing on that. They're focusing on the amount of sales calls they could take. They're focusing on the offer, focusing on delivering killer results. So the business owner isn't going in, mapping out his process and seeing the tiny little changes they can make, which is why I like to apply my analytical brain to do these things and fix these sales processes for businesses just like these. So before I do dive into the changes that I would make, if you want a funnel hack like this, just book a call down below and then we'll go over it. Here's how I would improve this. I think everything up to here, the only one thing that I would change is just direct different call to actions to different opt-in pages, and change this instead of how to build or scale your real estate business to how to build your real estate business remotely, or something about getting your first deal, and then another opt-in page, how to scale. Here's how you get from 4 to 10 deals a month. And if you could send people to different opt-ins where they're at, they're going to increase the amount of people that actually watch it because it resonates and sticks. So this is both to the beginners and the experienced. I would separate that. The next thing here, this is awesome. The fact that they're disqualifying leads and trying to get them out of the funnel. I think one big lever point that every single agency, consulting, or coaching program can pull is to add another question that asks about their current situation or their main problem. And the reason why you add a little bit of friction is because you can use that differentiator in your pre-call process. So what I mean by that is, let's just say we find out that someone is a beginner and someone is 10 years of real estate investing, or someone's biggest problem is finding their first deal, or their biggest problem is, I have so many deals, I don't know what to do. These are completely different paths. So if we get that tag on the qualification form, what we can do here is actually personalize the pre-call flow if they book a call, and we could send them tailored thank you pages. We can also send them tailored email flows. If you look here, there was just one email here, and you can actually send them specific emails and information that type of person is going to want to consume. For example, instead of just showing all of these case studies, for the beginner, just show the beginner case studies. For the advanced investor, just show the advanced case studies, because they don't want to be hearing about someone making their first deal. They want to be hearing about the person that scaled from where they are to where they want to be. And the same thing you can do here. Just change up the content that you show people and try to just educate them differently, because someone might be completely problem unaware and someone might be so problem aware that they need to just know why you're the best solution, which is different flows. So that was one point. The other point, something that I would really improve here, I remember when we were getting a lot of people that were qualified but didn't book a call, they would just sit in that Slack channel for literally days and no one would call them, because we're all focused on higher quality leads. We want to talk to the people that have booked a call, but this person didn't book a call. If setters just can't keep up with the amount of leads that are coming in, but this is a very consistent lead source, there's two solutions. Just add more friction in this form, which I was hoping that we could do so that less people get through, but also just get an automated system to reach out to these new leads. So instead of email flows and instead of reaching out, let's just replace these SMS flows with blue messages, because we have mainly US-based clients. We'll automate that. We'll just take all the data of what we know the conversation typically goes like, which is like, hey, saw you almost booked a call. What got you interested? Where are you at with the journey? We put that into an automated flow in the CRM, and that's just going to replace the first 1 to 2 touch points so that setters can get pinged when the person responds. It's so much more leveraged. What that can also do is, if the setters literally can't even keep up with that, then you can set up an AI appointment setter to reach back out and sound like a human and naturally qualify these leads and just conversate with them. So this is like a next level solution that's going to increase the amount of people that actually book a triage call. It's very simple stuff. AI is evolving, but AI appointment setters combined with SendBlue, which is just the iMessage Blue sending software, oh my God. It's literally like you just replaced the setter, but they run 24/7. So that was the biggest thing there for just getting the amount of leads to book calls. And with the personalized pre-call process, these show rates and these close rates are also going to go up. So going on a little bit more, I think one more thing that they could definitely improve here is the confirmation right here. So once someone books a call and they're qualified, what we can do, instead of just sending them a generic email with a thank you page, is actually have the same thing going back to the blue messages. We can have a back and forth conversation with them, asking if they're still good to chat, asking if they got the chance to look at the thank you page, introducing ourselves, giving just little reminders here and there that we have a call, getting them more excited, getting them more bought in. So we can set up this SMS sequence, which actually will increase the amount of people that respond and confirm the call, and then increase the amount of people that get back on the thank you page, which is going to definitely increase show rates for sure. I remember we were sitting at 60 or 70% show rates. We could definitely get that to 80, 85%. And lead to booked ratio, I don't even want to know what the ratio was there. I think it was probably 7 to 10%. It should be bare minimum 12 to 15%. If someone is a new lead and excited to actually buy your thing, the last thing you want to do is just let them sit without anything. We have to reach out, have a conversation with them. But yeah, that's that. I think those 3 changes are going to just be a huge revenue lift for this business. And if I were to come in and tweak those couple things, I would definitely be able to guarantee them an extra amount of revenue each month if I knew the numbers. So if you know your numbers, and if you feel like you might not necessarily be where you are with your sales process, or there's just conversion rates throughout the sales process that you just don't want to bother to fix, or you know how to do everything but you just don't want to implement it, then I'd love to offer a free pre-call sales audit, similar to what I did here, but more diving into your problems and your numbers. I could put together an awesome audit. You could check out exactly where you're missing revenue, and if you want to work together so I can implement it, that'd be awesome. So if that sounds interesting to you, my link's below. You could just go to our funnel, book a call, and if it makes sense, then we'll work together. If not, you'll walk away with just exactly what you need to do. So yeah, thanks for sticking around. Hopefully you got some value from this video. And if you want to connect with me, my Twitter is below. Stay posted on YouTube. I'm going to be posting one of these every single week, just everything about sales process optimization. I want to be that guy that you guys come to increase your conversions. I just really like to do that stuff and would love to provide value in any way that I can. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.